Let's talk about the 7+ process for life coaches. The NLP communication model includes the notion that our 5 senses take in up to 2 million bits of information per second. The notion further states that our conscious mind can only process 7 ± 2 chunks of information per second, which equates to approximately 134 bits per second. It doesn't take a math degree to see that our fantastic senses make available for more information than the conscious mind can usually cope with. So what happens to the rest? The incoming information passes automatically through a number of filters to reduce the information down to the 7 ± 2 chunks roughly, or roughly 134 bits that our conscious mind can cope with. The filters do this by deletion. To attempt to actively pay attention to everything entering through our sensory input channels would not be useful. Thus, we omit certain parts of our current experience by selectively paying attention to certain other parts of it, i.e. we focus on what seems most important at one particular moment in time and allow the rest of it to pass by. A common example of why deletion is necessary is that by the use of mobile telephones whilst driving, statistics prove that so much information is deleted when we try to do these two tasks simultaneously that we end up doing both badly and sometimes with very serious consequences. Distortion. Distortion occurs when we make shifts in our experience of sensory data by making misrepresentations of reality. Distortion is a key component of imagination and a useful tool in motivating ourselves towards our goals. When we plan to use distortion to construct appealing imaginary futures, as an example, ask yourself a simple question. Would you recognise your best friend if they changed their clothes or styled their hair in a different way? Without the ability to distort reality, the answer would be no. Every time your friend changed a single aspect of their appearances, hair, length, colour, hair colour, clothing type, clothing colour, you would have to learn that the entire configuration and add it to the map which you label my best friend. Each time you saw your friend, the only way you could be sure it was them was to be mentally examining every version of them in the map until you found one that matched the person standing in front of you. Add in the fact that they look different depending on their facial expression, physical posture, state of health, etc., etc. And the number of combinations you would have to learn just to recognise your friend would be huge. If you have more than one friend, then you would really have to your work cut out for you. Thus, we rely on distortion to allow us to identify a particular thing or person over a wide range of variants. Generalisation is the process by which we draw global conclusions based on 1, 2 or more experiences. A useful example of generalisation is that of a door. We learn that a door is usually a conduit between two locations, an exit from one location and simultaneously an entry to another location. We also learn that most doors are fixed along one side with about an axis of rotation, that if we pull or push on the opposite side of the door, it will open in one direction and close in the other. This is a superbly efficient form of learning, as once we've learned how one door works, we have the necessary information to deal with doors of any shape, colour, size or composition in any location, as long as they conform to that basic type, and we can commit this information for memory for future use. At its best, generalisation is an efficient means of learning information which can be applied globally. At its worst, it is the way we take a single event and turn it into a lifetime experience, i.e. most phobias arise as a result of one-time learning. 7 ± 2 represents the number of chunks of information that the conscious mind can usefully attend to in a point of time. To clarify, in optimum conditions, i.e. when you're calm and relaxed, quiet, focused, an average person can attend to up to 9 chunks of information at any one time. Under less than ideal conditions, i.e. when it's noisy or they're stressed, distracted by other things, an average person may only be able to attend to 5 chunks of information at any one time. Most of the time, the average person could attend to 7 chunks of information at one time. Chunk size is variable and is usually related to the complexity of each chunk.